Hi, I'm Mark Edwards. Welcome to Travelogue and welcome to our Taiwan series. In this episode, we're going to be taking in a little bit of culture and a little bit of history as we head from central Taiwan all the way down to the southernmost tip, taking in Tainan and Kaohsiung on the way. We're lucky enough today to be at the largest and, I've been told, the wildest religious festival in the whole of Taiwan. That is the Mazu pilgrimage. You see people all around me, and actually I'm going to go and walk in towards the temple and the fireworks. Let's go and have a look.
Beigang is our hotspot destination to take in this once-in-a-lifetime experience. To be precise, we're heading to the lively Chaotian Temple, also known as the Palace Facing Heaven. Visited by no fewer than 3 million people every year, this is one of Taiwan's most important religious sites. Its fame rests on something it was built to enshrine, an image of the goddess Mazu, the goddess of the sea who protects seafaring people. Brought to Beigang in the 17th century, it's been worshipped here ever since. And all this veneration is hardly surprising when you take in that the island's been so dependent on fishing and immigration from across the sea. It just so happens that this time of the year is when hundreds of groups coming from temples all over the island make a pilgrimage on Mazu's birthday. They bring their own Mazu effigies to commune with the venerated deity here, the belief being that this will confer greater spiritual energy on their own images for another year.
Right, the best piece of advice I was given all day is to make sure you wear something long sleeve and something long at the bottom. Now, that's because the fireworks, as you can see behind me, are absolutely crazy. You'll get hit everywhere. Make sure you've got some earplugs, some big for your eyes, cover every bit of your body. Even your neck.
What happens is that a few days before the big day, hundreds of thousands of Mazu devotees will besiege the town to see her paraded through the streets in a ceremonial sedan chair. The backdrop to this is a chaotic kaleidoscope of fireworks, the largest of its type on the island. The festivities reach a crescendo on the actual birthday, when a dawn ritual is performed to thank Mazu's parents for bringing her into this world. One version of the Mazu story has it that she was a real woman named Lin Monyang, who was born in 960 AD and spent her whole life in selfless devotion, guiding ships into harbour and saving seafarers from drowning.
So on this very day, people from all over the world who are Mazu worshippers will come back to their particular region, and in this region is where all the smaller branches will make their way to the main temple where we were before. So it really is an international day, full of fireworks.
In many ways, it's hardly what you'd expect from a religious festival. It's bright, it's colourful, and it's loud. More akin to the carnival in Rio. There's a real feeling of camaraderie here, as well as the sense that you're continuing a time-honoured tradition. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to experience the colour and religious fervour of a medieval pageant, then the Beigang Mazu Festival is for you. Even if it can be a little heavy on the ears, it's a treat for the eyes. But that's not the only part of your body that'll be treated. Children on blimps showering everyone with candy really reinforces the carnival atmosphere, as there's music everywhere and the costumes are all so extravagant. Doesn't come cheap though. Parents beware. The local wisdom is that it can cost as much as $300 to keep your child in sweets for the day. Right, it's time to get out of here before everyone's teeth have rotted off completely in a haze of sugary heaven. On to somewhere a little quieter.
So I finally managed to rip myself away from all the fun and craziness at the Mazu pilgrimage in Beigang. And I've headed down south an hour to Tainan, which is the oldest city in the whole of Taiwan. It's got around 400 years of history, and I've been told that tradition permeates the entire place. So we've got lots of little streets and traditional culture everywhere.
Tainan is the island's fourth largest city, with a population of just over 750,000 people. It wasn't always that way. For more than 200 years, from 1661 to 1887, Tainan was Taiwan's capital and the cultural and commercial centre of the island. These days, Tainan is regarded as one of Taiwan's most socially progressive cities. Modern, but clean and cultured, where a 21st century social scene is combined with deep respect for history and tradition. Just lose yourself in the maze of narrow lanes, courtyards and garden walls that embrace hundreds of shrines and temples, and you'll quite literally be able to touch history.
So I'm actually touching a piece of Taiwan history right here. This is the oldest wall on the whole of the island, and was built in 1624 by early Dutch settlers when they came here and built the castle named Fort Zeelandia, which is just up ahead, so I'm going to go and have a look.
Anping is the oldest part of Tainan. It's also one of the oldest non-indigenous settlements on Taiwan. Back in 1624, it was where the Dutch established a settlement that they called Fort Zeelandia. But their stay was only brief, because 38 years later, Koxinga turned up and drove them out. Koxinga, also known as Zheng Chenggong, was a Ming dynasty general who landed here with 25,000 soldiers, and is generally recognized as kick-starting a Chinese cultural renaissance on the island. He's eulogized as the only Han general to inflict a major defeat on a colonial Western power. Another tribute to this much-admired hero is found at the Chukkan Towers, which served as Koxinga's first headquarters. But boring admin centre it is not. It's a pleasant compound with delicate streams and gardens to relax you. Within, you can see a fine visual representation of Koxinga sailing across the Taiwan Strait. But it's not all about war. It became an international business port soon after, and you can still see some of the remains today.
So I've arrived in the Anping part of Tainan, and back in the day, in the 17th century, this was very famous for being an international commercial port. These days, I'm walking around the Julius Manick & Co. house, which was a German trading company in the 19th century, and this used to be a very important building where a lot of things happening. These days, not so much, but if anything, it highlights something I've heard about the people of Tainan, who are famous on the island for being extremely commercially minded. So they've taken a building which maybe had lost its way and have turned it into a celebration of all things German. So you can walk around a German museum, then have a cup of German beer and some German food.
Entrepreneurialism is key here, and there's a saying in Taiwan that a man with a wife from Tainan is fortunate, as 9 girls out of 10 come from a rich family. Fact is, Tainan has a reputation for producing great businessmen down through the centuries. Tainan is also home to the building that is considered Taiwan's spiritual center, the Confucian Temple. Dating from 1666, it's one of the most charming and peaceful places in the city. Here, young and old alike come to enjoy some quiet time. The temple is Taiwan's leading center of education on the teachings of Confucius. It's also the center of a whole variety of activities. We stumbled on an intimate concert, which just goes to show that people in Tainan take their pleasure just as seriously as they do their spiritual well-being. Right, our next stop is Meinong, and it holds out the lure of some Hakka culture. 90% of Meinong's population claim Hakka ancestry, and the majority still speak their traditional language. The Hakka are famous for their food and also for being thrifty, hard-working and living in close-knit communities where there's a strong sense of shared ancestry.
你好，你好，我叫马克。马。
我姓肖了。
你姓肖。Mr. Xiao. Oh, do you speak English?
Yeah.
Where are you from? Are you from Meinong or?
Yeah, we are traditionally in Meinong.
In Meinong.
Father-in-law, they are staying here.
Wow.
We are younger. Usually younger, we go out walking, you know. So I stay in the Air Force. Air company.
In the Air Force. Okay.
A traditional Hakka village is formed of numerous three-sided houses with a front wall, creating a compound. Each family compound will have an ancestral hall, come meeting hall. It's dedicated to worshipping the family's ancestors. These halls are a token of just how much tradition permeates everyday life here, and if anything, is a perfect exemplification of the importance that Hakka people place on the family, whether alive or dead.
Alright, been looking for this place. It's called the Sacred Word Tower. Now, in Hakka culture, education and words in particular are sacred. It's one of the most important things. So anything that's been written on, has characters or words, handwritten or printed, cannot be disposed of in a casual manner. When in Rome, do like the Romans, so this is yesterday's schedule, don't need it. Dispose of it the Hakka style. There we go, disposing the Hakka way. And it's no wonder that Meinong claims to have the most graduates of any village in the whole of Taiwan. Education is key here.
And it's not just in Meinong that there's this great respect for the written word and education in particular. It's of superlative importance to Hakka people the world over. They have a saying, not having a proper education is like having eyes but not being able to see.
Right. Yep, I think I've got the right place. Whenever you come to the slightly less well-known villages like this one, bring a little guidebook. It's very useful. I found number 177. Let's go and have a look. Hey, 你好，你好，这个是谁进来的商店吗？你很有名，在我的书，是你的名字，所以太不清楚，但是是你的名字，所以我来看，见过你。
Master tailor Shinji Lai was born in 1909. In 1930, he opened this shop, making traditional blue Hakka clothes. He passed on all of his expertise to his son and daughter-in-law, who are continuing the business. And it's a splendid way of keeping tradition alive. Much of the appeal is in the symbolism, which is inextricably linked to the way the clothes are designed, as the owner explains.
客家人生里面，这个是像这个这个叫做栏杆。栏杆里面它有3个吉祥物，第一个是太阳，第二个是蝴蝶，第3个是松柏。太阳，它本身就是告诫我们的子孙，就是入出而作，入肉而息。蝴蝶它本身是围绕在我们身边最美丽的动物。蝴蝶它本身它也是象征着一个生命力的周延，松柏树就是坚韧不拔那个精神。
Another of Meinong's claims to fame is the exquisite oil paper parasols made here in their traditional Hakka cultural village. It originated in 1924, where local folklore has it that a Meinong businessman visiting the Hakka stronghold of Chaozhou in Guangdong province came across a small shop selling umbrellas. Impressed by what he saw on display, he brought this form of Hakka culture back to Meinong. The character for umbrella in Chinese somewhat typifies the Hakka way. You can spot a family living happily together. To this day, mostly thanks to being a good gift, the Hakka umbrella culture still lives on. Finally, it's time to head to the sea. Kaohsiung, Taiwan's second city, is 40 kilometers southwest of Meinong. It's also the island's major international seaport and one of the largest container ports in the world. Talk about a city of superlatives. Thanks to its fortuitous location by the sea, people in Kaohsiung enjoy a very relaxed lifestyle. And it's little wonder that the city, with its palpably laid-back feel, has become such a place of fun and romance. Make sure you don't miss the beautiful sunset. You may also want to score some easy points with your better half by soaking up the romantic atmosphere on the many promenades dotted around the city. And if none of that works, then it's time to call in the reinforcement.
Time to get on the love boat.
Okay, so the love boat might seem a little cheesy at first, but those of you who've been on the Bateau Mouche in Paris will know how rewarding these trips can be. Well, Paris probably has the edge in terms of the sights you can see from the river, but Kaohsiung definitely gives it a run for its money in the romantic states, helped by the light aromatic sea breeze drifting along with you. Right, enough of the romance. It's time to get stuck into the best thing about being in the sea: seafood. We head a little south to the frenetic fishing port of Donggan, which is most famous for its formidable annual haul of the highly prized Pacific bluefin tuna. If you're here in May or June, you can catch the annual Bluefin Tuna Cultural Festival. Don't be misled by the name. The festival offers you the chance to sample a whole range of marine specialities. In Donggan, we're talking a real fish lover's heaven.
So I've arrived at Donggan, a town famous for having extremely fresh fish. Now, its #1 celebrity resident fish is the bluefin tuna. Might not mean a huge amount to any of you, but to sushi and sashimi aficionados, it should ring a bell. That's because that's where toro sashimi comes from the underbelly of the fish. And if you have a quick look here, it's an extremely expensive Japanese delicacy, and one of these slices will set you back $9 or $10 US. But I don't think there's anything wrong with some guiltless eating.
Whatever time of year you decide to come, there'll be something to satisfy your appetite. Don't miss out on the toro sashimi, one of the town's 3 treasures of the sea. The other 2 are the Sakura shrimp fried rice, one of Donggan's signature dishes, and the oilfish, whose roe is baked into delicate cakes. Above all, there's a little something for everyone. Time to head on to Kenting. You've seen the sea, you've smelt the sea. Now the sea is right here for you to try.
Woo! So I finally made it down to Kenting. And, you know, I was in Kaohsiung before, I could see the sea, couldn't quite touch it. Here, this is the island's premier sand, beach, sea resort, and I'm going to go for a dip, see what it's like.
The Kenting area is Taiwan's largely unspoiled, sun-kissed tropical playground. The sun shines on more days here than in the north. And even when it does rain, the clouds drop their load, move on quickly, and the sun comes back out again, and the fun continues. This happy, lively place is Taiwan's most popular summer resort. Kenting is well geared up for the tourist market, with a whole range of leisure activities on offer, as well as lots of places to stay. There are 5-star hotels with their own private strips of white sandy beach and stunning sea view rooms. You can also find cozier, more intimate hostels and bed and breakfasts, Whatever your budget is, Kenting's got it.
Hi， 你好，我订一个房间，我叫Mark， 马克。
你今天住的是船屋，在最顶楼。
哦，是在外。Okay. So she's going to show me to my room. It's just upstairs. I've arrived at the Xiaojing, which means literally Little Lane Hostel. I did my research, looked for something that was slightly more homely in Kenting, and from what I can see right here, I found the place I wanted. Let's go upstairs.
In 2008, this was the most popular hostel in Taiwan. There's also a lovely little story about how the owner came to be here. She spent her whole life dreaming of living by the sea. Then one day, her boyfriend brought her here. He asked her to marry him and gave her the deeds to this property. He'd been spending all his time away, pretending to be on business, whilst looking for her dream house. So all you would-be Romeos take note. That's how it's done.
Wow.
喜欢吗？
哇，我特喜欢，特好看，很可爱。
今天晚上住这里哦。
这个是我自己的
洗手间。
Wow. Okay. Well, hopefully the pictures talk for themselves. But I've been to a lot of hostels in my time, and this one is definitely right up there. I mean, I've got a bed that's shaped like a boat. How cool is that? I've got a flat screen TV and my own bathroom.
Kenting isn't just about the sea and the sand. It also offers exotic flora and fauna, as well as stunning views and dramatic geographical formations. Make sure you don't miss out on the mountains.
So I'm with my friend over here, my buddy Pinga, and he's the guy from the Jeep shop, and he's here to make sure, because it's slightly different driving one of these Jeeps, make sure I'm okay with all of the maneuvers and the controls and I don't hurt myself. And also he's able to tell me all of the cool little places to go to in town around Kenting here. So we've just been up to a mountain and we're heading down to the sea in a second, so I'll see you down there, right?
This part of Taiwan is the one that is furthest removed from the stereotypical images of a heavily populated, highly industrialized island. As you ride your Jeep across a deserted beach, or on a road with the sea as your companion, and the sound of the waves as your music, you'll get a feel for what southern Taiwan is really about. Relaxing, exhilarating, and eye-opening. This is a sign that you've hit the southernmost tip of Taiwan, the lighthouse. And it's the area that you'll really find very, very hard to leave. The food is delicious, the people are warm-hearted, and the scenery is magnificent. And of course, there are loads of beaches. There's not much else you could really ask for, except for an extension to your holiday.
So I'm going to be slightly hypocritical and say, when you head to Kenting, don't just laze around on the beach. Have a little exploration like I have today. We made it all the way from Beigang, from that crazy Mazu festival where I got pelted by fireworks, and sweets as well. And then through via Kaohsiung, and in Kaohsiung, in that area, I had some of the freshest fish I've ever had. All the way down to Kenting, to the southernmost tip of Kenting, which is where we are now, right behind me. On the right we have the Pacific Ocean, and on my left we have, quite far away over there, the South China Sea. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. I hope you've enjoyed the last half an hour. It's not the end of our trip around Taiwan. There's still so much for us to discover. But I'm Mark Edwards, and I'll catch you very soon on another episode of Travelogue.